Hi, family. Let's see if I can switch you over. Can you see me? Almost, kind of, not quite. Hey, welcome. T. Crab Dragon. Welcome to the family. I'm going to see if I can get some better lighting. Have a walk with me. There's a party over here. Hey, what's up? Welcome. Can't really see me right now. Maybe I'll just go back into the car and we can scope from the car. I'm at Coronado Beach. I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, what Bryce? I'm going back in the car. I'm gonna find a quiet space. Okay, hopefully you can see me now. Hey guys, welcome. Okay, so I'm Rue. I'm one of the family cast members. Welcome to the family. Tonight's a really great night. I don't know about y'all, but today feels really good. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm just setting up here. Hey. Okay. My stand is all kind of funky and whatnot. My name's Roussel. I'm Rue. I'm with the family. Should probably leave these lights on. I don't know, what would you call me? I'm one of the story. Hey, Kit, what's up? Yeah, today was a great day. Learned a lot. The past couple, it's been rough. The past week, a lot of changes have been happening. I don't know if you all kind of follow the moon, but we just had a new moon last week. And with the new moon comes new energy. And so here at the family, what do we talk about family? We talk about a lot of things. We talk about humanity as a whole. We talk about, Aries, we got some fire up in here. So it's been really great. A lot of changes, a lot of unsettling energy, a lot of people getting frustrated, a lot of old stuff coming up. I am not. I am actually a Virgo sun, Gemini rising, and a Sagittarius moon. So what that essentially means is I am a walking oxymoron. I do not make any sense to anybody. You gotten much? Yes, it's getting better. Things are opening up. A portal just opened up. I don't know what, but anyways, I just got been doing some reading, and I wish I knew how to share this information with y'all. But so essentially, what's happening is humanity as a whole is doing really well. So what's changed is that we are now in power. In full, complete power, no matter where you're at in your journey, to create your life. And so tonight I wanted to really talk about that, especially what's been coming up for me and many of the people that I've been having conversations with is authenticity and the importance of authenticity and having integrity within yourself. And so really a lot of what we talk about here at the family is being true to you. And so if you're on this Periscope, it's because you're a miracle. I mean, to be on this planet, it's no joke. Like 1 out of a gazillion or something like that. I don't remember the science of it all. But for you to be alive, there's a reason, there's a purpose. Oh, cool. Well, that's my eyebrows. I love that about myself. That's what I was born with. So, anyhow, being authentic with yourself and how you're feeling and accepting who you are and what you're about. So there's a lot of different ways that we can talk about this, and that's cute. Thanks. No, I'm Filipino. So let me get back on track here. Let's talk about being authentic to who you are. And so we can look at this many different ways. We can look at this on a third dimensional aspect about your physical body and while you're here and go through your past. Or we can look at it on a fifth dimensional level where we're in multi-dimensions and we're experiencing aspects of ourselves. So when we're talking about authenticity, I know that Dragon-wise last night talked a little bit about reclaiming your personal power. And I know that Aaron talks about the pause and acknowledging your feelings. So my expertise comes in observing people and observing and genuinely wanting to know what they're about and why they do the things that they do. Thank you. Keeping it all the way real, starting with your own self-cognition and awareness. Absolutely. And that's really important, to have that self-awareness. And the thing about having that self-awareness is that you have to take the time to want to get to know yourself. I did a personal Periscope today where there was a gentleman who was just really hating himself and really hating life. And I thought that was interesting, because all anything is everything is energy. Everything's vibration. So if we think about the word hate, or if we think about the vibration of hate, all hate really is, it's just a vibration of love. It's just the opposite of love. And so if you're in the vibration of hate, if you're feeling hate, you really love. And so it's not one or the other, it's both. You can't have one without the other. And so that's another topic. So what am I trying to say here? The alchemy of life. Yes. Who are you? What's your name? T. Crab Dragon. Is this? We have Dragonwise, who is one of our cast members. He's Luke. And so it's so interesting, because a lot of what he says is what I say as well, and we're all in the same wavelength. So, oh gosh, I want to tell you guys so many stories. So help me out here. What do you all want to talk about? I want to talk about authenticity, and how do we be authentic to us? Authenticity, creating your life, creating a life that you want. So let's talk about that. I don't know about you, but growing up, I always felt like I was powerless. Like, other people were controlling me. Other people were controlling what I could do, how I could do it. And all I wanted to do is make everyone happy. I wanted to feel connected. I wanted to feel accepted. And all I wanted to do was be myself. So when I was younger, I wanted to be everything. I wanted to be a dancer, I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be president one day, I wanted to be an ambassador, I wanted to bring nations together. I wanted to do really big things at a young age. The thing is, since I'm Filipino, we're told to be quiet and do what we're told. I don't know about y'all. Being a person of your word and owning the choices you make and the direction they take you in. Yeah. Being a person of your word. There's something powerful about owning your word and being a person of your word. So when we go about talking about being a person of your word, it's about trust. It's about trusting yourself. So there's something magical about speaking and choosing the words that come out of your mouth. Because when you say things, when you speak words, it's like magic. Stuff happens when you speak it out. Like, you can think a thought, like in your reticular activator system, you'll think a thought and it'll stay. Faith in what you speak, absolutely. So a lot of that is inner knowing, is understanding who you are. And okay, so let's get specific here, because these are some really big ideas, and sometimes when we're talking about these abstract ideas, it doesn't make sense. So may I tell you a story? Let's do a story. So specifically about speaking and being authentic and being faithful and trusting yourself. So, okay, here it goes. In the past, I didn't trust myself. There's a lot of things happened to where I would second guess and I would hesitate. And the reason why I would hesitate was because in the past, people would tell me that, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's not right. So let's see if I can get a little bit more specific here. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry, guys. I'm usually on this. I'm usually on it. So, okay, let's talk about that. Here I am on this Periscope. And how do you know what I'm telling you is true? You know, how do you know? How do you believe that what I'm telling you is of service for you? Except for the fact that I feel it and that I want to be that person. And the hardest thing to do is to be authentic, is to tell the truth and to trust. What if creation feels like a toy? What if it does? Life is kind of like a game. I think so. I view it as a game. It's one of the most fun, amazing, exciting games. We choose to believe that you are speaking your truth. Okay, great. So cool. So it's choice. So everything comes down to choices. We have free will, right? And cool. So we have free will, and we, I'm just going to get very real with you all tonight, because I am having one of those moments in which I, and connect to the sincerity of your delivery of those words, cute, black, shiny. I am not black, I'm Filipino, so thank you. Thank you all. So here's what I'm feeling. Is being authentic is the hardest thing to do. And the reason why it's the hardest thing to do is because we have to, for me, I have to accept myself for who I am. With all my stories, with all my trauma, with all my mistakes, in my full entirety. With all of my judgments that I have about, no, I don't speak French. With all the judgments that I have about myself. And I have to be willing and open to share that with you. My experience, my stories, my vulnerability. And it's the hardest thing to do because we're constantly on stage. We're constantly, hey, welcome, thanks for joining us. I know for me, I'm constantly in front of people. And I believe that if you're here on this planet, you're here for a purpose and you're here for a bigger reason. You're not here on accident. You chose to be here. And so be careful, or not be careful, but be cognizant of what you think, how you feel, what you're about. It's like being naked and still loving the image, looking back at us in the mirror without fail or question. Yeah, it is like being naked. And being comfortable in our own body, being comfortable in our own thoughts. And many of the ideas that I have are outrageous. And my big dream is to create a world, one world where we're free to express ourselves, to say what we actually mean, and to mean what we actually say. And for there to be no judgment. Making oneself naked, stripped of all pretense and defense is how I've heard it. Yeah. Being comfortable in our own truth, right? So what happens when you're comfortable in your own truth, in our own truth? And what happens when other people are comfortable in their truths? And what if we create a world where we're able to share those truths together? I get still and unproductive. Freedom. That's good. Freedom is what happens. So there's this idea that I have, the meaning of life. And I actually got this from Greg, who's another one of our cast members. When we break down the meaning of life and what we want to experience here on this planet, it's joy, peace, love, and freedom. So what happens when you're consistently and constantly in that vibration of joy, peace, love, and freedom? Then what? Then what? What kind of world would that be like? Can you imagine that? Joy, peace, love, and freedom. So here's what I've learned over the past weekend, is that in the past, I've cycled, and I've seen many of my friends cycle through this idea of living in the past, like analyzing our past and figuring out what we did wrong and how we can make it better and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then focusing on our future and what we want to create and what that looks like. And so then we add this added pressure on ourselves. Like for me, like building this academy for kids where it's kind of like where we teach them creative leadership and entrepreneurship. So that's one of my projects that I'm working on. And the overanalyzing, yeah. Okay, well, what happens when we're in our bodies and in this moment? So what happens when you're completely present within yourself, completely present with others in this moment? And what kind of experiences would you have? What if you decided to just do what you wanted to do in that moment and say what you wanted to say your entire life in that moment without like experiencing this moment as if there were no other moments? Like, how freeing would that be to you? And so this weekend, what I've experienced is that we have a lot of rules, a lot of boundaries, a lot of things that we can and cannot do, or, no fear, that we're told that we can or cannot do. Like, for example, crossing the street without crossing it, like, just without limitation. Like, so if you just decided to cross the street, not use a crosswalk, that's a rule, right? Like, that's considered jaywalking. It's so silly. So, and yet there's that rule that you can't cross the street unless you look both ways. And then what happens? And it's considered for safety. We don't want to die and blah, right? Well, what happens if you just cross the fucking street? Just because you felt like it. Without thinking, without worry, just without consequence. Just crossing the street because you felt like it. So what I found in this world and in society is that there are a lot of rules and a lot of limitations that we place on ourselves because we want to, like, throw out some things. What do we want to do? What are rules good for? They're good for setting boundaries. They're good for protecting ourselves. They're good for living safely. Well, what if you just decided to live, to have an experience, to experience yourself fully in every aspect of yourself, emotionally, mentally, physically? Then what? So what life are you creating for yourself? What world do you want to live in? I know here at the family, we want to live in a world where we can be, do, and have anything that we want. Where we can experience abundance in all aspects of our life. Health, wealth, spiritual, physical. So, what are you doing today, right now in this moment, to create your life? Are you cycling through your emotions? Pooping. Well, yeah, pooping is a good form of letting go. It's actually very healthy. Right. So, let's go back to creating your life and be authentic to who you are. So, to create the life that you want, we need to honor and accept ourselves for who we are and what's going on, and understand that without limitation, without rules, what that looks like. What if we just disregard the rules? What would you want to experience? Would you want more sex? Would you want more money? Would you want more relationships, more connection? What would you want? More toys? Imagine what that looks like. And go and explore what is at the core of you, what your values are, what your virtues are, and then see if you can figure out why you're here. What do I want? What do I want? Is it a struggle to live in Cali since it's really expensive? No. The thought of expense is a limiting belief. It's scarcity. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you want to live in California, live in California. I love Cali too. It's awesome. So, I hope this is not as confusing as it feels. All I want to do tonight is just to remind you all, hey girl, I miss you. 405 is the devil wears traffic. It's traffic. So, yeah, I really don't want to get into that right now. So yeah, that's kind of what I really want to talk about tonight is just create your life. Be authentic, stay true to who you are. And if you need help figuring out what that is or what that even means, that's why we're here. We're here to have a conversation. We're here to talk about why we're feeling neurotic and crazy and angry and happy. Are you like a young hippie? I don't know what that means. So, yeah, if you can explain that to me, that would be great. I'm an entrepreneur. So what I do is I am a connector. I need help being a powerful psychic navigating current social norms. Okay, great. powerful psychic navigating current social norms. Okay, so you have certain abilities, right? So that's authentic to you. And so since you have certain abilities that you're able to tap into, which all of us have certain abilities, they're specific to you. And you want to navigate through current social norms. So the biggest thing is to understand what the norms are. And what does that mean? So let's talk about this. If you could tell me a little bit more about your current social norms. Like for me, I can speak on my experience. So for me, I've always been fascinated by leaders. I've always wanted to be a leader. I always wanted somebody to show me what that meant. And what I found is that the best leaders are the most creative, most influential, loving, wealthy, giving people that I know. And they're making an impact now. They're not waiting till tomorrow. They're making an impact now. They're bending the rules, breaking the rules in order to make the change that they want to change. So, or changes that they want to see in the world. So if you talk about current social norms the way that they are, you pick an aspect of what normal is to you. So for me, my biggest curiosity happens to lie in understanding why people do the things that they do and what moves them to action and what are the things that allow people to connect on the deepest level. Like, sorry guys, it kind of got dark. Let me see if I can get back in the light. This is so funny. I'm sure this is a metaphor in some aspect or another. So I'm at the beach because I had this need to be authentic to myself and go to the beach because I was having a moment, and I will totally figure out. Here, I'll go this way. So back to your question about psychic abilities and navigating through the social norms, you have to pick an aspect of the social norm that you're interested in. For me, it's leadership. For me, it's changing the world and figuring out what gets people to move into action. So for you, it may be about sex. I mean, that's another thing that has been coming up for me is sexuality and relationships. So what is considered social norm in relationships? And how can we use those abilities to help people have an understanding of what that is? So part of what I can do ability-wise is I can feel people's energy and I can feel what's keeping them stuck. And so what's interesting is that more and more people are waking up to their abilities, and more people are waking up to the fact that they can see the world in a whole new way. And so Aaron and Greg talk about this whole new world concept. So when you're wanting to tap into those psychic abilities, that's what I consider playing. Play with those abilities and see and create social experiments. So I don't know if you guys were on the scope when F. Serpent was doing his social experiments where he was downtown in San Diego and he was just connecting with people. So I'll give you a more personal example. Last weekend, I went out with some friends. I had this kind of feeling that I needed to go see F. Serpent or Alex, and found out that he was downtown, and so we hung out with a couple of our friends. We ended up going to this bar, and at this bar, we were just like, because we're entrepreneurs, we're normally just working on our projects and we just kind of keep to ourselves, and unless, I'm out networking or working or in some capacity. So we were at this bar and all we wanted to do was dance. And so we're dancing and, having a good time, but we realized that no one else in the bar was dancing. So we're like, what is this? We need to get everybody else involved in this scenario because right now it's just us two. And so what happened is I was afraid to get everybody to dance. So instead, what did I do? I found somebody else I walked up to somebody and I said, because I knew that she was open, I asked her, how do you think we can get everybody in this bar to get up and dance? And she was just so excited and elated and a little drunk. And she said, oh, let me show you. And in that moment, I realized that I'm afraid of what other people think and how they perceive me. And this girl, she wasn't afraid, even though she was like, you know, a little drunk. She wasn't afraid in that moment. So how can we have more of that feeling without resulting to alcohol and drugs? What if we could just be who we are and express ourselves in our fullest capacity all the time? You know? So I've been playing around with this, with the social norms. And so that night, I just started just connecting with people. They were drunk and they have no idea what was going on, but there was this one guy who I was just sending a lot of love to. He was, his friend was picking on him, and he was just letting his friend pick on him. And so I said, wow, you must really care about each other to be able to, oh, sorry, I have some helicopters here. You must really love each other in order to like treat each other that way. That feels like a lot of love. He's like, yeah, he's like my best friend. He's always been there for me. And I'm just like, wow, like you're such a caring person to be able to like, and such a strong person to be able to like hold that kind of space for your friend. He's like, yeah. And then it became this like 5-minute conversation about how much he loves his friend and how he wants to find connection with others. And it was this 5-minute conversation with this guy at this bar who didn't seem like he had anything going on, and what I found out is that he really just wanted connection. So these are the kind of conversations I've been having. So what if we just created that kind of life where we just loved on each other, as crazy as that sounds, where we're just complimenting each other just for the hell of it. So hey, little golden keys on. So I think this was enough for tonight. So what kind of world do you want to create? What kind of life do you want to live? Hey. Yeah, you're a little late. So anyhow, I'm so glad that you made it on a world of love and harmony. Absolutely. And so imagine what that looks like, because right now is such an instrumental time. Right now, we're in creation mode. So think about the world that you want to create, not the world that we had in the past. Forget the past and forget the future. Focus on what you want to create right now and take action steps towards that. And that sounds more of like a 3-dimensional type of thing, but no, seriously, think about it. Think about, like, what if you could do and be anything that you wanted to be? What if you could... A world of roses and beautiful people. Absolutely. I imagine a world where we have the gods and goddesses playing full out 100%, where people are free to say what they want, when they want, how they want, and be accepted for who they are with no judgment. It's just unconditional love. And where we can experience each other in a whole new way. So anyways, that is me. That's what I have to say for tonight. Join us tomorrow night. You will have Miss Mama E taking over the broadcast tomorrow night live. Oh, she'll be back in San Diego, so that's going to be exciting. She's coming back from Austin. So that's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Sensei Alex will probably either be Thursday or Friday. I don't remember which. Or he might be tomorrow. Who knows? You never know here on The Family. Things are constantly moving and shaking. So follow us on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, at familitree. Also visit us on family.link, and you can meet all of our cast members. We are getting more and more cast members, so we're really excited about that. All right, love you too. I'll talk to you soon.